Hello Hammerheads, and welcome back to Thrill Hammer's double feature of the week. This week, we'll be taking a closer look at identity and the associated conflicts that some face when coming to terms with who they are. This week, we'll be examining a mainstream hit and a Criterion cult classic. Here we go.
Thrill Hammer.
This week, we'll be taking a look at two movies that tackle two sides of the same coin. Both films look at what happens when you are forced to come to terms with your decisions and in some cases face the consequences. American History X, a 1998 drama starring Edward Norton and Edward Furlong and directed by Tony Kaye. Our other film is a lesser-known classic, Europa, Europa. Europa, Europa is a 1990 war drama starring Marco Hofschneider and Julie Delpy based on an autobiography by Solomon Perel. These movies both examine the difficulty of changing your identity in the face of hate. Let's start with the more well-known of the two, American History X. Edward Norton plays Derek Vineyard, a leader in the neo-Nazi community who has just been released from prison and is given the opportunity to save his brother, Edward Furlong, from making the same mistakes. There is no denying who the star of this movie is, Edward Norton, who received an Oscar nomination for his powerful performance. During the course of the movie, we see how the hate Derek grew up around turned him from a regular person into a standout member of a neo-Nazi group. Additionally, we see how Derek's choices allow for his younger brother to justify his own journey down a similar path. After a terrible decision lands him in prison, we see Derek's racist beliefs crumble. Derek watches fellow neo-Nazis go against the values he preaches in the name of money. It's at this point he wonders if the hate his fellow neo-Nazis are portraying is all a facade. During one interaction in prison, he is faced with the question, has anything you've done in your life made your life better? Derek crumbles emotionally at this question, realizing that he has done no good, only harm. It is at this point he decides to start his redemption arc. Fun fact, to take this role, Edward Norton turned down another one, the role of Private Ryan in Saving Private Ryan. Europa, Europa tackles a different perspective. This film follows protagonist, German Jew Solomon, played by Marco Hofschneider, as he goes through several transformations and identity in order to hide amongst the ranks of the enemy. This film is heart-wrenching. Watching young Solomon have to betray his community and witness unspeakable horrors, all in the name of staying alive, makes the viewer extremely uncomfortable. But it also forces them to empathize with him as he falls deeper and deeper into his disguise. Europa, Europa shows how quickly the tide of hate can shift and how baseless these feelings can be. Watching Solomon transform from Jewish to a communist to a Nazi and back again paints a picture of desperation and illustrates how even those who claim to hate for a reason don't truly have a reason. In a scene in which Solomon is expected by a racial expert and then declared Aryan stock, the audience sees firsthand that the hatred felt by those who view others as less than is unfounded. Europa, Europa is not nearly as well known as some films that cover similar subject matter due to the controversy of the use of black comedy in a Holocaust film. The German Export Film Union went as far as calling the film junk for portraying such heavy content in anything but a tragic light. Despite the controversy, Europa, Europa went on to win a Golden Globe for Best Foreign Film. It's unfortunate that the message of these two films is still relevant today. Regardless of your politics, it's important to recognize that hate ruins not only your relationships with the people around you and your relationship with yourself, but also it can dramatically alter your life path. Edward Norton's Derek in American History X has to face tragedy in order to really grasp the reality of the damage that hate can do to one's life. Marco Hofschneider's Solomon is forced to bury his identity again and again in the name of self-preservation, but there was still insurmountable damage done as he watched his family torn apart and went as far as self-mutilation to prevent being discovered. Both of these characters find their identity in the ocean of hate through dramatic life circumstances. But if you're interested in another film that falls into the same vein, check out The Believer. A 2001 drama starring Ryan Gosling, The Believer follows a Jewish skinhead who questions his beliefs on two extremes of the spectrum. If you watch any of the movies mentioned in this video, please drop a comment below sharing your take and any other similarities or differences you think I may have left off. As always, please like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay up to date on weekly double features, as well as the rest of our amazing content. And remember, if you are watching this video, you are a card-carrying member of Thrillhammer Nation. See you later.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up!